We really need to set ourselves free to dream. We live in an ever-changing world. Constantly new technologies, new trends come in, new audiences come into the consumer market and behave completely different than we had expected. Having clarity of where we're going to go is really important. We got to aspire to the future. We got to know what's going to happen out there so that we know what to do today. Endgame thinking is really anchoring everything out in the horizon. And for those of you who have ever been on a boat, you know, when you navigate a boat, you sort of look way into the horizon and navigate towards that, because that gives you the straightest line towards where you want to go. And endgame thinking is, in its simplest form, really finding the best possible point out in the future for a client to navigate towards. Clients and the client's customers, when you engage with them, don't always have the foresight to tell what the future is going to be like, because they're so busy in the execution of what's happening today. So moving into the future and working backwards works much better than starting with all the challenges today and moving forward. So the first step is really a bit of an inventory of what do you believe that you can do as an organization, client organization and inside Star. And then there's a lot of imagining the world out there. What is the world really going to look like? And when you know all these things, you can then start dreaming. And it's super important to do that together with the client. As we've done that, we then start looking at, okay, how do we connect the dots from the future into the present? And this is where quite often reality sets in and you realize, there's an element of this end game, we have to go out there and adjust again. And at some point when you've sort of gone back and forth a few times, you have typically a quarter by quarter plan and narrative for what you want to do along different work streams. When we start getting into the sort of real execution mode and planning that, we then write a playbook for each of these journeys. What I've experienced in my career is that once you get very clear on who are you serving, what clients are you serving, who are our clients' customers, what does the world look like, what are the journeys that lead there, what are the playbooks, you can operate much faster. And this sort of future that you might have thought was 5 years into the future, you can sort of pull in and do in 3 years. And of course, if it takes your competition 5 or 8 years to get there and it takes you 3 years, then you have a huge advantage. And I think the big difference between us and perhaps the traditional strategy consultancies is that we're not only out there to prescribe what the end game or the strategy is, we also have to build it. It's not just high-flying imaginary stuff that maybe someday something could be possible. It's really rooted in, okay, this is where we're going to go. Now let's build it and let's prove to ourselves that we can build this thing and create this future that we have envisaged. So at Star, of course, we practice what we preach. So we also have an end game. And our end game is really to be the Sherpa for our clients. We anchor ourselves in the client's challenges, opportunities, wishes, and perhaps even more importantly, in our clients' customers' reality. So whether you are a new crew member or someone who has been there or here for a long time, I'd really encourage you to be intensely curious and question things and dive into testing endgame thinking. Let's all get behind embedding it into every single thing we do for clients. Let's get behind it for everything we do internally to continuously make Star a better and better place to work. And most importantly, let's have fun in the process of doing this, because doing end games and journeys and playbooks is actually a lot of fun.